Who really rules in heaven? The Bible describes angels as powerful spiritual beings, but their role is often simplified to merely being messengers of God. However, the scriptures reveal a celestial hierarchy far more complex and structured than we usually imagine. Some angels guard cosmic secrets, others are in constant battle against the forces of evil, and some are so close to God that their very presence radiates divine fire. What you are about to discover may completely change your understanding of heaven, spiritual warfare, and the role of these beings in creation. So, subscribe to Codigo Biblico and get ready, because we are about to unveil the mystery behind angels, archangels, cherubim, and seraphim. Scroll 1. The celestial structure according to the Bible. Before analyzing each type of angel in detail, we must first understand that heaven has a hierarchical order. Open Book Colossians 1 verse 16 states, "For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones, dominions, rulers, or authorities. All things have been created through him and for him." This passage suggests that different levels of authority exist in the heavenly realm. But how are these beings structured? Crown the three great spheres of hierarchy. Christian theology and Jewish tradition have attempted to classify angels into different levels of power. One of the most accepted classifications comes from Dionysius the Areopagite, 6th century AD, who organized angels into three spheres. Small blue diamond first sphere, closest to God. Keycap 1 seraphim, eternal worshippers in God's presence. Keycap 2 cherubim, guardians of divine holiness. Keycap 3 thrones, represent God's justice and sovereignty. Small blue diamond second sphere, executors of the divine plan. Keycap 4 dominions, coordinate God's plans throughout the cosmos. Keycap 5 virtues, responsible for miracles and maintaining order in creation. Keycap 6 powers, fight against chaos and demonic forces. Small blue diamond third sphere, messengers and protectors of humanity. Keycap 7 principalities, oversee spiritual regions and nations. Keycap 8 archangels, commanders and warriors of God. Keycap 9 angels, messengers and protectors of humans. This hierarchy is not explicitly described in the Bible, but is based on various mentions of different angelic ranks throughout Scripture. Now, let's explore each type of angel and their function in creation. 2. Angels, God's messengers. Angels are the most frequently mentioned celestial beings in the Bible. Their primary role is to serve as God's emissaries, carrying out specific missions in human history. Hebrews 1 verse 14 states, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" Characteristics of angels. They are God's messengers. They can manifest in human form. They protect and guide believers. They carry out divine orders with absolute obedience. Examples in the Bible. Gabriel announces Jesus' birth, Luke 1 verses 26 to 38. And the angel of the Lord appears to Moses in the burning bush, Exodus 3 verse 2. And an angel frees Peter from prison, Acts 12 verse 7. However, not all angels are the same. Some have greater authority and power, like archangels. 3. Archangels, God's commanders. Archangels are leaders among angels. Their role is not just to deliver messages, but to engage in spiritual battles and protect God's kingdom. Daniel 10 verse 13 describes Archangel Michael as a celestial warrior. Functions of archangels. They protect nations and God's people. They lead armies in spiritual warfare. They announce key events in salvation history. Jude 1 verse 9 mentions Michael in direct battle with Satan. But Michael the archangel, when he disputed with the devil and argued about the body of Moses. Michael is the only archangel explicitly named in the Bible, although Christian and Jewish traditions mention others, such as Gabriel and Raphael. Beyond the archangels, however, exist even more powerful and enigmatic beings. 4. Seraphim, the worshippers of God's throne. Seraphim are the closest beings to God. Their name means the burning ones, because their very existence is filled with the fire of divine glory. Isaiah 6 verses 1 to 3 describes the seraphim around God's throne, singing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of His glory." Characteristics of the seraphim. They have 6 wings. 2 covering their face, 2 covering their feet, and 2 for flying. Their sole purpose is to worship God without ceasing. Their fire symbolizes purity and God's presence. Seraphim do not interact with humans, as their mission is to proclaim God's glory eternally. But if the seraphim are closest to God, the cherubim are the guardians of the sacred. 5. Cherubim, the guardians of the celestial kingdom. Cherubim are majestic beings responsible for protecting God's glory and divine holiness. Genesis 3 verse 24 states that God placed cherubim with flaming swords to guard Eden. Exodus 25 verses 18 to 22 describes cherubim covering the Ark of the Covenant. Functions of the cherubim, guardians of God's presence, represent divine judgment, symbolize unshakable holiness. Cherubim do not just guard Eden, they are directly linked to God's throne. 6. The rebellion in heaven and the fall of the angels. Now that we have explored the angelic hierarchy, an inevitable question arises. If God created angels as perfect and powerful beings, how is it possible for some to rebel against him? The Bible mentions a war in heaven, a cosmic conflict in which Lucifer and his followers challenged divine order. This rebellion forever changed the structure of the heavenly kingdom and left consequences that still affect humanity. Scroll the fall of Lucifer. Who was the light bearer? The most enigmatic figure in angelic history is Lucifer, whose name means light bearer. In Christian tradition, he is described as a high-ranking angel. But what was his position in the celestial hierarchy before his fall? Open book Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 15 describes a cherub with direct access to God. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created until wickedness was found in you. Many scholars believe this passage refers to Lucifer before his fall, portraying him as a powerful cherub who had access to the divine presence. Open book Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15 also mentions his rebellion. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. Small blue diamond Lucifer's position before his fall. White heavy check mark he is believed to have been a cherub, as described in Ezekiel 28. White heavy check mark he had an exalted status in heaven, possibly in charge of worship. White heavy check mark his beauty and wisdom were unparalleled, until his pride led to his downfall. Crossed swords the war in heaven, Michael versus Lucifer. Lucifer's rebellion was not a silent event. A real battle took place in heaven, in which Archangel Michael and his angelic hosts fought against the fallen angels. Open book Revelation 12 verses 7 to 9 describes this conflict. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But they were not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. Small blue diamond consequences of the rebellion. White heavy checkmark Lucifer and his followers were expelled from heaven and cast to earth. White heavy checkmark they became demons, enemies of God and humanity. White heavy checkmark Michael's leadership was established, making him the chief defender of God's people. This event marks the origin of evil in the spiritual world, a war that continues in the heavenly realm and has real consequences for humanity. Keycap 7. Are angels still active today? After learning about the history of angels, many wonder, do they still act today, or was their intervention limited to biblical times? The answer is yes, and the scriptures confirm it. Open book Hebrews 13 verse 2 tells us, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing some people have entertained angels without knowing it." This suggests that angels continue to interact with humanity, though their presence often goes unnoticed. How do angels act in our world? Keycap 1 as protectors. Open book Psalm 91 verse 11. "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." Keycap 2 as messengers. Open book Luke 1 verses 26 to 28. The angel Gabriel appears to Mary to announce the birth of Jesus. Keycap 3 as spiritual warriors. Open book Daniel 10 verse 13. Michael fights against the prince of Persia in the spiritual realm. Keycap 4 as observers of humanity. Open book 1 Peter 1 verse 12. It is said that angels watch the work of salvation with wonder. Angels continue to be active in our reality, protecting believers and carrying out God's divine will. Keycap 8. Do fallen angels have a hierarchy? If there is a hierarchy in heaven, could the fallen angels also have a similar order? The Bible suggests they do. Open Book Ephesians 6 verse 12 warns us about a demonic structure. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Small blue diamond hierarchy of fallen angels, according to the Bible. White heavy checkmark Satan, Lucifer, supreme leader of the rebellion. White heavy checkmark principalities, demons that rule over regions and nations. White heavy checkmark powers, entities with influence in both the spiritual and physical world. White heavy checkmark spiritual forces of evil, malevolent spirits that affect people's lives. This confirms that there is an organized structure within the kingdom of darkness designed to oppose God's plan. Keycap 9 Conclusion. The final purpose of the angelic hierarchy. After exploring the celestial hierarchy, Lucifer's fall, and the war in heaven, we arrive at a crucial question. What role do these beings play in God's ultimate plan? Open Book Revelation 19 verses 11 to 14 describes the return of Christ with heavenly armies, suggesting that the angels are preparing for the final battle. Small blue diamond final lessons about angels. White heavy checkmark, they are servants of God, obeying his commands with absolute loyalty. White heavy checkmark, they protect and guide us, though their intervention is often invisible. White heavy checkmark, a spiritual war is ongoing, where Michael and his hosts continue to fight. White heavy checkmark, fallen angels still have influence, but they will ultimately be defeated in the final battle. This understanding helps us see that the angelic hierarchy is not just a theological concept, but a reality that still affects both the spiritual and earthly realms. Megaphone, what do you think about the angelic hierarchy? We have taken a deep dive into the mysteries of angels, their hierarchy, the rebellion in heaven, and their impact on humanity. Small blue diamond, tell me in the comments. Which of these celestial beings impressed you the most? Have you ever had an experience where you believe an angel protected or helped you? Pushpin, if this video helped you understand the celestial hierarchy better. Pushpin, share this video with someone who wants to know the truth about angels and their role in heaven and on earth. They'll see you in the next video. God bless you, and